Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of How Did This Get Booked? I, of course, am your host, Jake Manning, and I'm a veteran of the professional wrestling business for over a decade, and I've held every single job except selling popcorn. I'm joined, as always, by my friend, my co-booking friend,
Yes.
the Michael P.S. Hayes to my Bruce Pritchard, the Roadhog to my Deadpool, Zane Riley. Zane, how you doing today?
I make money at my job. Fuck you do.
Oh, that's right. Let's put over other people's podcasts before we start our own.
Maybe those people will like shit on ours a little bit, so we'll get a couple more views, listens, whatever we get.
Or maybe I should shit on the other podcast that I have,
Ooh.
which is 10 Bell Pod. I've recently relaunched another podcast because I would like to have no more free time anymore.
Yeah.
I need to fill that all up. I have a big hole in my life, so
Yeah.
I'm just going to fill that all up now with podcasting and licking my wounds from wrestling 6 times in 4 days.
Well, actually, it seems to be our new MO that when we shit on stuff, it becomes insanely popular.
Or dies.
Well, I mean...
Oh, wait, that's the other podcast I
Yeah.
do. Because we were detrimental to Vader, and he died.
Then he died.
But on this podcast, when we shit on stuff, it becomes insanely popular.
Yes, just in life, because obviously Jeffrey Giraffe is the best wrestler in the world right now.
Exactly. And we thought that spot was dumb. We put together the whole rest of the match, other than one thing, and we
said,
told
you fucking do this.
You guys worry about this. We're just going to get you to Jeffrey and Giraffe. We don't care about Jeffrey
We'll
Giraffe.
get you 29. You figured out from 30.
For those of you who are not uninitiated in what we're talking about Jeffrey the Giraffe making his pro wrestling debut at a match that you and I helped put together up until that point.
Up until the 29th entrant was Jeffrey Giraffe. 30th was Captain America. And in that minute and a half, Jeffrey Giraffe became the most over wrestler in the world. A couple million views and a spot on ESPN Sports Center.
It was at least 3 million views as of Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if it may have reached 5 million maybe at this point in time, because it was literally, it went from 2.1 to 3 million in the span of like 2 hours on Sunday. So.
And Jake and I both violently disagreed with the idea.
So needless to say, we have no idea what is successful, even when it bites us on our ass like a giraffe.
Even when technically we have a hand in it, we still didn't like it. We still fuck up.
Hence why we have a podcast where we discuss things that are not successful. Such as our topic that we will be discussing today, as you could probably tell by now, is just me and Zane.
Yeah.
So that means it's pro wrestling in the mainstream media. Also, part of the reason why we're doing this is we were going to record this episode while we were at Florida SuperCon, and we had no time for that shit whatsoever.
Insanely no time.
Yes, insanely. We were going to actually have like another wrestler watch this, but we had no time for that. We were busy putting together 4 very good wrestling shows where you had
thousands of people saw them.
Thousands of people. You thought that was a little bit more than the thousands. I can't even say thousands of listeners with a straight face. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't.
All those Russian bots are.
But let's be honest. The 100
podcast.
of listeners that we have to this podcast, I can't thank you guys enough.
Of course.
And as a reminder, guys, for you hundreds of people, I would love to give away hundreds of T-shirts.
You have hundreds of T-shirts?
I would love to give away hundreds of T-shirts of How Did This Get Booked if you guys would just leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher. That gauntlet has been thrown down, and only one person has taken us up on that offer since I've laid down that challenge. So guys, please write a review on iTunes or Stitcher, and then DM me on Twitter your address and shirt size, and I will get you a free How Did This Get Booked T-shirt. I'm putting this announcement at the top
in case you cut it off at the end.
In hopes that it actually works, because we've been laying this gauntlet down for a month, and only one person has taken us up on one free T-shirt. So I am scared and petrified that we only have 5 people listening to the show.
In case all you listen to this podcast for is to hear our initial opening,
yes,
go ahead and do it right here.
So let you know if you like this opening and you want to leave a review on it, go right ahead and you'll get a free T-shirt by DMing me on Twitter or even Instagram your address and your shirt size, and I will immediately send it out to you as soon as you leave a review on Stitcher or iTunes. I do not care which one.
Either or.
Either or. So It's the way it works. But the way this show works is we watch something in the mainstream media, and you and I discuss it, and
I don't really know if this is mainstream, but I mean it's out there.
It's out there. It exists.
It's got actors in it.
It's a thing. It's a thing, and the thing that we were discussing today.
It's not a topa of anything.
No,
it was created by man.
We did not conjure this in our mind. Sting may have.
Oh, I'm sure.
This may be Sting's,
which in turn would mean that Sting then conjured us into his mind, into which we could do the podcast about it.
This is true. This is absolutely true. In the middle of Sting's fever dream, where ladies of the night and winos are attacking him.
Yes.
That's his
He thought of us.
That's his hellscape. Mine's a little bit more detailed than that.
Yeah.
So, but
I'm not my own surgeon in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go.
Anyway, so we haven't even got that far yet.
Yeah. We're not far from it, though. This is not going to be long.
We are literally like only 20 minutes away from discussing
This movie is 80 minutes of montage out of 100 and out of 90 minutes.
I was just saying, you probably fast forward through some of this.
I
right?
didn't.
You didn't? You watched the whole thing?
Well, yeah. Not like in one sitting. I'm not a fucking psycho.
I did.
I had to sit at an airport a couple of times for a couple hours on end, so I had some 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there.
Oh, okay. All right.
Bring it home today.
That's the best way to break it up.
Yeah.
Because, if you were on an airplane and you died.
That would, where would you be?
Where would you be?
All right, we got to get back to the beginning.
We got to announce what we're talking. Yeah. We're talking about Sting, Moment of Truth.
Unless we just assume that everybody listening watched it, and we can just make random alludements to it in not in order or anything, and people just get it. We just make liners from it.
No,
and then just take it home. Like, all right, guys, that's it. Don't go buy some soap.
We should watch something, not discuss it in a full episode, but sprinkle inside jokes in other podcasts.
Yes, of course.
When we're talking about like Halloween Havoc 1995, and we bring up something that we discussed at a different time. And
Rick Steiner not being able to pull a switch right or something.
Yeah, something like that. But what we're discussing is Sting, Moment of Truth, which is a documentary, biography.
What is when you do it about your autobiography?
Drama,
mockumentary.
Mockumentary. I believe.
I would totally buy that.
I believe Christopher Guest had some sort of hand in this, even though the directing and writing credit goes towards George King, a guy who's basically done nothing else.
Done just this movie. Well, there's a reason.
I checked the IMDb, and
he had one.
Nope, not really. Credit. And it was released on October 12th, 2004. And interesting fact from IMDb, the guy who plays younger Sting, who's in...
it's his son, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. I think his kids were younger.
Okay, then maybe he was one of the kid actors of it. I could have sworn it was.
Oh, the kids. Oh, you're talking about the kid, the very little kids.
Is that when
the little kids might be Sting's?
Yeah,
kids.
One of the. I think Steve's kid was like Steven whatever Jr.
Probably.
I think is one of the.
But I was talking about the guy who plays the blonde.
Oh, I thought that was Dolph Ziggler's little brother for the whole movie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Hard Body, whatever his name was.
But his the actual guy's name is Donnie Fallgatter.
It takes a hard right in that name.
It's okay because the only thing of merit on his IMDb
is this movie.
And he was a PA for the CMT Music Awards in 2005 and 2006.
Very good.
So
his career only went up after this movie. Is what you're saying.
I'm just saying he went from being a lead in a biopic to being a production assistant on the CMT Music Awards.
Made far more money.
A year later, probably.
Oh yeah.
Probably was treated far better as well.
Oh, of course.
I'm just absolutely.
He was treated far better having to get people drinks.
Yeah, making sure that Tim McGraw is well taken care of.
Yeah.
But with the little kids, I would probably assume that this is a family affair for Sting. Sting's like, hey, make sure you put my kids in this movie. In that, and then they get the announcement of the pro wrestling, and then you see Sting walking down the aisle, and he pulls a cross out of his duster. If for any of you have wondered what is in the pockets of Sting's duster, I guess we find out.
How does it stay there with all that movement?
I know, when he was like hitting the NWO and cleaning house, he had a cross in there the whole time.
That doesn't seem safe.
Yeah. And also, too, we're going to try not to shit on religion here too much.
No.
But, we are going to poke some fun at some times. But trust me as being a Christian myself, I know how to respect things. But also, too, some of the stupidity of this movie is glaring. And it does involve religious stuff.
And me not so much being a Christian, I can still respect everyone else's beliefs and how they want to deal with it. And this touches on it very well. I mean, it's cheesy and hokey here once in a while, but the overall idea and the message he gets across is, very admirable and good for you if you want to use that as what you like, what made you kind of get off the random drugs and booze and all that.
What makes you a better person? That's the thing. Whatever it is.
If that's what it is, that's great.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the point.
And put on this world to be a goalie, man. I'm not going to block you from shit. If you love some Jesus, love some Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. If that's the thing that makes you a better person, then that's the thing that makes you a better person. But at the same time, too, don't make that thing be the thing that causes you to be exclusive in who you deal with. That's basically always my point with Christians is people that saying, oh, because you're gay or because you're this or because you're that, you are living a bad life where in fact I read the same exact book you jackoffs did. And
I didn't get that part of it.
I didn't get that part. I learned that this life is more inclusive as opposed to exclusive. So I don't know what you guys were reading, but that's I read the Bible, is that you pull people closer together.
Yes.
And the people that are further out in society, you have to go search those people out.
You have to go to them and bring them in.
And bring them in, but not shame them in telling you that their life is miserable.
Turns out shaming people doesn't bring them in.
No, it doesn't. And I think maybe that's kind of the point of this as well. So, we see a filmed match between Jeff Jarrett. This is obviously at the Nashville Fairgrounds. There's actually people there. I don't know if this was during a TNA taping.
It has to be. Most of this stuff is TNA taping or like WCW shots.
Yeah,
actual wrestling.
But I find this funny that this match, there's actually people there.
Yeah.
But other matches like with Abyss and the cage match, there are not people there.
No.
So it's almost
or there's like the same clip of like 2 or 3 groups of people.
Yeah. So it's almost like Jeff Jarrett's like, well, if you're going to film B-roll of me, if I'm going to bump, it's going to be in front of people.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to bump for whatever. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, fuck it, I'll bump here.
Yeah. But like Chris Harris, like, I'll bump here. Lance Hoyt's like, I'll bump here.
Yeah, I'll do it, brother.
Sure. Whatever.
Just put me in the movie.
Smart
This could be on my IMDb.
Smart Bart Sawyer's like, sure, I'll take a press slam to the outside. No problem, bro.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I'll do it in an empty arena for this movie. No problem. But Jeff Jarrett's like, no. I'm going to run a show, and we're probably going to charge at the door, and I'm going to make some money off of it.
This is how we're going to make a little bit of money for your movie.
Yeah. So, but that's why Jeff Jarrett's in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Hey, exactly.
So he's a business.
He's got more power to him.
Yeah, more power to him.
For a man that walked down the WWE twice, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just straight up, quit.
Yep.
Didn't even tell him. Had to call him to find out. He's coming to work? Nah, I'm not.
Nah, I'm just chilling in this hot tub with Road Dogg.
Yeah, he's not coming either.
No, he's not coming either.
By the by.
Oh, but speaking of odd characters, this reporter,
best actor in the whole goddamn movie.
Is it?
Yeah, man. He was perfect. Like, he had some stupid shit, but like, I believed he was an actor. He probably has some things.
There were some actors in there.
Yeah.
I think the person that had probably the most illustrious IMDb was Charlie, the rigging rope guy. He probably had
creeper?
Yeah, that guy. That guy actually had the biggest credentials of all of them. This guy...
Was he like a rigger-upper?
I don't know.
I didn't know if that was like why he had so many IMDb credits.
No,
like
he had, I think he was in like a lot of like horror movies and other movies and low budget stuff. Where this reporter, I think he's done some television work.
Mm-hmm. Probably done some local theater.
I saw somebody had like a Sequest TV credits.
Yeah.
I think this reporter also was in an episode of Walker Texas Ranger, if I'm not mistaken.
Sold on that.
I didn't want to take too many notes on this.
We've already talked more about him than I expected.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't expect it. Let's just say, sometimes for this podcast, I do way too much research. And then there are other times where, like, right now, in the last 2 days, I haven't felt like doing anything.
Oh, of course. That's fine.
It's
all right, because this is mainly music, and we don't run a music podcast. But yeah, we got to get to our guy that does a Rush podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just here to talk to my friend who I have been seeing for the last 6-7 days.
Who we have not been held apart from one another by no means.
Yes, we were supposed to record this days ago. Yeah. So this is just catch-up work right now. So
this is just to put something out into the ether.
Mm-hmm. This is to keep on with our schedule. And keeping on with the schedule, the reporter saw Sting pull out the cross and asked what was in the pockets, and Sting denies that it was a cross and said it was lint.
Sting is a real big cocksucker in this movie, like majority of the time, just not wanting to be like, he kind of shits on this guy for a minute and then kind of blows him off on this question, then like brings him back to show he's kind of all right, and then like the the reporter at the very end with the makeup on. He's a real big dick to that guy. Mm-hmm. So he's got some shit going on right now.
Well, listen, like, Sting's never been known to be very cordial to his fans. He's been very standoffish. That's why his rate for autograph appearances is very high, because he doesn't want to do it. He has like a different price for a makeup paint Sting. Mm-hmm. And then he has regular Sting, where it's just a white shirt with sunglasses.
You got Steve or you got Sting.
Also, too, he demands that you have to have Purell in for every meet and greet, because after he shakes everybody's hand, he always sanitizes his hands because he thinks wrestling fans are dirty. Just to let you know, when you spend $50 to meet Sting, how he feels about you.
Yeah.
So,
in case you want to spend that money at the High Spots merchandise stand, which is usually right down the way from him.
Exactly.
Or in the lobby.
Where I have no problem shaking your hand. Yep. Matter of fact, Zane might even lick the side of your face.
I will. What is your favorite side?
Yeah.
I'll be your bushwhacker.
I'll be bushwhacker. But
if you're a lady in your older days, I'll be your bushwhacker too.
But yes, so when you say that Sting's coming off with like a dick, I think he's becoming off particularly nice. I was like, this is him toned down, because if anything, him just letting people into his dressing room already. Like there's times where he has to go through the locker room, and if I walked up to him and said hello to him, he's blown me off a couple times before. Just in, like, I'm not going for a handshake. I'm not doing anything.
Hello, sir.
And like, hello, sir. And he's just walked right by me like I don't even exist. So he could stand at a table that is curtained off, where he has Purell, where he sanitizes his hands after he shakes your hand, after you paid $50 to meet your hero.
Of course.
So the fact that he was just this courteous was like, man, Sting is trying to paint himself in a really positive light here. So it's funny that you see him as like, no, he's a dick.
He's a dickweed. Dickhead.
This is turned down for me. But anyways, we're using this reporter as kind of a narrative device to get us to talk about the backstory. As a flashback to younger Sting, and getting to talk about how he got into wrestling. There's also a line. It goes, if you want to talk to Sting, you got to talk to the paint. There's a weird line. There's a lot of weird lines in this whole thing. Like, and hopefully I remember to bring all of them up. But I like when we start talking about California, they just use 80s stock footage.
That's all you need.
Like,
it hasn't changed.
But it's like, that's the thing. They got, like, you could see the grainy lines of it, like being from a VHS tape when they're recording on digital tape.
And they're tracking it. And
exactly.
Tracking, right?
Yeah, or they're tracking it with a VCR. Like, I think they were trying to be artistic, but I think they're also pretty cheap about it.
Yeah, had to blow in that VCR before they could play it.
Yeah.
Good to go.
So, talk about California was the land of opportunity until the taxes took over. Obviously spoken by a rich guy living in California. Man, these taxes are killing me.
Man, this top 1% shit is getting out of control.
Yeah, this is just tough. We need some Republicans.
Fucking Obama.
These Democratic run states are just brutal on a rich guy like me.
All this kale and avocado.
And of course, he does what is one of your favorite things in the whole world, Zane, is he refers to Hulk Hogan as Terry.
Terry? You mean like Linda?
Yeah, like Linda.
Fuck her. I'm not talking about Linda.
But yeah, so we referring to Terry was actually Hulk
Hogan. You
mean
newly reinstated Hall of Famer Terry?
Oh, are we scooping that here?
Well, no, it's out there.
Oh, I know that, but I'm just saying. Yeah. Let's just say we scooped it here.
Yeah, we did it first. We recorded this 3 weeks before it happened. We just had a feeling.
Exactly, we recorded this ahead of time.
This is not the Tuesday before it's released. I swear.
Yeah, no other wrestling podcasts has come out and talked about this.
Nope,
have they?
We'll do it. We'll do it right here.
We'll do it right here, right now.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
Hulk Hogan is back with WWE. There you go.
Had to have a meeting about it.
Breaking news.
Called everybody brother, then had to reiterate what he meant by brother.
Yeah, exactly. The one day where he doesn't call everybody brother, and this is what happens. He loses 3 years of his income.
There you go.
But anyways, Terry walks into Sting's gym and gives...
Everybody freaks out about it?
Yeah, everybody freaks out about it, and Sting's like, hey, everybody seems to like this Hulk Hogan thing. Maybe I should give it a shot.
Yeah, because it's just that easy, man.
Yeah.
I guess back then it was.
Yeah, well, if you're... if you're not doing well in wrestling training, the worst thing that could happen is you get the pancake slug.
Yeah. By Burt Prentice.
Burt Prentice. Legendary.
He probably got paid in Gropes alone.
Have you met Burt Prentice?
No, I've not directly.
I feel like you two would get along.
Oh, I bet.
You two are cut of the same cloth.
Cool.
Like opposite ends of the cloth.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong,
But we're
like,
cutting the same pattern.
the same burlap sack.
Good.
As you guys.
Go out of my way to meet Burt Prentice.
Like the idea of how you make money and what pro wrestling should be.
Oh yeah.
You two,
Okay, then, yeah.
You two are on the same way. Like maybe it's not about the groping part, like, but I'm talking about the idea of like how you make $1 at a wrestling show. You two would get along fabulous.
I'll have to go out of my way to meet him.
You should. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
And Burt Prentice plays the wrestling
Coach.
trainer,
Yep.
the coach. That is the credit on the IMDb page. But he's putting part. You got to make him believe and all that stuff. And this is basically the origin of the power team. Them walking into an arena and getting people's autographs, and then of course them going on to work for the Jarretts in Memphis. And the story always was when the Ultimate Warrior, Jim Hellwig, and
Jim?
Sting. Yeah, Jim.
Jim and Steve.
Back when Jim and Steve they worked Memphis, is like Rick Bassman had this great presentation, and everybody assumed like, well, somebody with this great presentation obviously knows a thing or two, and even if they don't, it's still okay. They got a good presentation. Like, okay, maybe they are a little green, but we'll take a chance and we'll bring them in. And
Anybody can learn to wrestle.
Yeah, or like they know, they obviously would know enough to get by. We just got to put the rocket ship on them in Memphis. Come to find out, as soon as they got to Memphis, it was way worse than they expected, and they were immediately upset about how bad they were in the ring.
No.
Like they were like they had a low bar already, but apparently they had exceeded.
You didn't even touch that bar.
Yeah, they didn't even touch that bar, and that was kind of the rap on them right at the beginning. So it's kind of funny that they went on to be such large successes a few years later, because it was very much like, okay, well, they probably suck, but like maybe they won't be this bad. And like, oh no, they were way worse than we thought. So it's just one of those things that sometimes the sizzle is better than the steak, and that happens a lot in pro wrestling. And that's kind of what he admits to in this is that he was green, and he was
he just said a couple green guys.
Yes, a couple green guys. We didn't know nothing when we were hurting people and all that other stuff. But I should mention the guy that playing Jim Hellwig was actually was in TNA in 2003 and 2005 as Triton, I believe his name was. But he actually ended up signing with WWE after this movie. So this may be where they discovered him.
What did he do there?
He
got fired.
No, he was OVW champion for a short period of time, and he wrestled as Jacob Duncan.
Okay.
And he did quite well for himself, but I think he got called to the main roster a couple times and then went back down. And it's just one of those things that he's great and impressive. He's big, but lumbering, and he also was like around the time of Dan Radman, I think. He was another big, tall guy. Yeah. So this was at the time that they were like, they were just signing big guys and just hoping for the best. Like this, and this is 2005. This was like the first time 2005, 2006 was like the first time that I ever did any extra work. And they were nice then, but like they weren't going to give anybody the time of day because they were just signing these big, impressive guys. Everybody. Much like they were hiring models and just hoping for the best. Yep. They were also signing guys.
Following the Ron Bassman work.
Exactly. It all comes full circle. It comes full circle. That kind of the situation, like, well, if he can just learn a little bit, it'll be okay. And it turns out he couldn't learn anything.
It's just teaching Kelly how to stripper dance. You know,
So, but yeah, that's kind of what he went on, and that's to let you know a little factoid of information there. And they talked about how glamorous pro wrestling was, having a tuna and OJ. Have you ever had tuna and OJ before?
No, fuck no. I didn't watch this and think, I'm going to go have some tuna and OJ. I have both of these things in my refrigerator. No, that sounds awful. I don't buy it.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
Why couldn't you just drink one and eat the other?
I don't buy it, but at the same time, too, I'm starting to think like, well, you sprinkle lime on fish to make it taste well, and maybe
this is not the same citrus.
I was trying to justify it in my mind, my Advil laced mind at the time.
How busy do you have to be where you can't just have a sip of drink in the middle of your tuna pouch?
Yeah, I don't know why you just can't have, like, you can eat that tuna scotch and then wash it down with OJ.
Real chug.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't have to puke it out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why do you want to make both those worse?
You have the OJ? Maybe we should go try this out.
Okay, let's
a little extra. Here we go.
Let's
back. Ready to go take a break.
Oh,
that was the worst thing we've ever done.
That was dumb. That was awful.
That was all bad.
Oh, I've only used my blender once in this house, and now I'm just gonna throw it away. That was awful.
You have sullied the land here.
Oh, I can't. I don't even want to wash it. I'm just gonna throw away that blender.
Just throw it whole.
I'm just gonna throw away that blender. That was awful.
Oh.
Oh. Why'd you lead us astray, Sting?
Damn you, Sting! How could you?
Why couldn't you find Jesus this time in the movie?
Jesus would have told you, man, don't do that.
Yeah, when he goes down on his knees, like, Lord, forgive me, I made a mistake. I ate tuna with OJ and blended it together. That's what he should have been screaming in that hotel.
Clearly, Jesus has his fish with wine. So what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. That was a Billy Graham Parkway hotel special.
Yeah.
Which is that was always the stories that George used to share with me about Sting, about how poor Sting was when he came to the Carolinas. He was like living at a hotel because there was a hotel where a lot of the wrestlers stayed at, like off Billy Graham Parkway, that right next to the Waffle House.
Yeah.
And it was a good spot for them because Billy Graham Parkway is not far.
It's like across the street from Crockett at the time. The office, wasn't it?
No, that was a little bit further down, but they could hop on the interstate and then get to South Boulevard very easily, but they could also get to the airport very easily. Okay. And then I think there was a gym not far away, but then you had a Waffle House that's open 24 hours, so you can always get food because you live in a hotel. So obviously cooking isn't the best there, but
option.
But you're close to the airport, you're close to the office, you're close to an interstate that can shoot you straight down to Georgia or take you straight up north to Virginia. Yeah. So it's the most ideal, centrally located place you could possibly be. Cheap hotels, and Sting was living there when he first moved there. And he was like even living there when he was wrestling Ric Flair at the time, like on top. And the story is that right before they put the belt on him, he was working without a contract, and Ric Flair found out that they were going to put the belt on him, and Sting didn't have a contract. And he goes, "Hey, you need to give him a contract because if I'm going to put this guy over, you can't just have him walk out." But he was like getting the minimum deal, pay per appearance type handshake deal. He goes, "No, you got to give him kind of what I'm getting or he's just going to leave."
Yeah, no shit.
And there's also a great story of when Crockett had his own plane. He would fly guys like if they needed to double shot like a Fayetteville, North Carolina show, like on a Sunday, and then the night before they'd be in Baltimore, and you want the Four Horsemen to make both those appearances and stuff like that, or you wanted a large amount of crew to make those appearances, but they would get other people on there, like George South even rode the plane one time.
What?
Like they would just
I ain't talking about that. The beer fun.
Yeah, but they would get everybody in there just because, like, hey, we need to get a crew of guys to do this Baltimore show on a Saturday night, but we also got to be in Charleston, South Carolina on Sunday, and you're not going to be able to make that with a drive. And Ric Flair ain't going to make that drive.
Ric Flair's just not going to drive.
Yeah, we definitely need these both.
Yeah.
So they would just get a whole crew card full of guys to do it. Well, apparently there were too many people on the plane for this one show in Baltimore. Like there's even like crazy ones where they'd have a Baltimore show and then an Atlanta show the next day. So some guys would go up to Baltimore and then drive through the night and be there at the Omni. Like there was even crazier ones like that. But there was some show, I believe in like Richmond or Baltimore or pretty far up there. And then the next one would be like a Raleigh or someplace in North Carolina. And they were getting on the plane. It was very early when Sting was in the territory. And Sting was about ready to get on the plane. And they're like, "Oh, sorry, Sting. JJ took the last spot. You're going to have to drive." And so he had to like drive up to Baltimore and then drive back down for our Raleigh show. And George was like, "Oh, you think when this guy flies first class now, he doesn't remember that? Like when he demands promoters to put him in a nice hotel and have a limousine there in WCW, you don't think he remembers those days
when he got fucked off
when he was told fuck off? This manager has to fly on this plane. You don't think that some of that isn't because of that.
Yeah, of course.
But fun little tidbit there. I like how they changed the name them to the Freedom Fighters instead of the Blade Runners.
No, they were the Blade Runners.
They're the Blade Runners, yeah. The guys that wrestle, one of those guys is Bart Sawyer, who was big in Nashville at the time. And then we explore the relationship of him and his wife Sue, where he's carrying her in with candlelight and Zubaz pants on.
Of course. I mean, what do you wear?
What
are you going to carry it brought over the threshold in when you have...
What 80s wrestler, when they want to get romantic, isn't wearing Zubaz and putting, candlelight on the
when
floor?
all you own is Zubaz and candles and not a bed.
Yeah. That's...
But what was this bit? Like, this looks like a nice house on the inside.
Yeah, like, you spend all this money on a house, like, spend a little bit less on the house. So you
buy
can
a bed.
And buy a bed.
It's just not fucking rocket science there, Sting.
I guess not. I like how they go out of their way to shit on Terry Taylor. Like, Terry Taylor couldn't make it here tonight. Yeah, didn't even show up.
Jack Trap is here or whatever.
Hammerjack.
Hammerjack
is a Nashville legend, my friend. Hammerjack means just as much to the Nashville crowd as Manscaped Jake Manning does to the Charlotte, North Carolina crowd. So
okay.
Put some goddamn respect on this. Put some fucking respect on Hammerjack's name.
Yes, sir. Okay? I apologize.
You should.
I'm sorry, Nashville Jake.
Then also, like, they talks about, like, renting a room out to Angel of Death, and they just have, like, Don Harris.
I was going to say, was that one of the Harris brothers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just waving on a porch, like, hey, man. Like,
I'm a Nazi.
I don't even know why we need to put that in there.
Nope.
You can just say that in narration over you just driving. Why do we have to put Don Harris waving on a porch?
And he's never mentioned again.
Yes! That is the weirdest thing. It's like, hey, can you imagine? It's like, Don Harris, you want to get in this movie? Sure. What do you want me to do? I don't know. Sit on a porch and just wave?
Cool,
okay,
man.
Cool.
Will you drive by my house? Yeah, fuck it, why not?
You know what would be even better? You want me in this movie? Yeah, but I don't feel like leaving my house. We'll tell you what, we just want you to stand on the porch and wave as we drive by. We're not even stop. We're not even gonna stop. We're not even gonna stop.
And when we pass, we'll do one take. It don't matter, man. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, we don't.
Just waving.
Big tattooed man.
Who may or may not be a Nazi.
Who may or may not be a Nazi.
Yeah, may.
Yes.
Then
Confirmed.
Then he talks about prayer, and he may mention, like, my brother Jeff, shouldn't that count for something? Which they don't explain, and I don't think we really find out to the end. I think Sting's brother Jeff is either a pastor or some sort of closely tied into a church. But we don't, when he says, like, come on, God, my brother Jeff, why shouldn't I get a pass? Like, you don't, like... There's no context for that. Yeah. So when I heard him say that in this prayer, I was like, did his brother Jeff die at an early age? And like, my brother
blaze right over that.
Yeah, and like
you could get Don Harris in this movie, but you couldn't talk a little bit more about your brother for a minute.
Yeah, you couldn't just like mention that your brother was also a pastor too. Yeah. Like you just made us think like, well, maybe his brother Jeff is dead, and that's how God knows him. Like I don't.
And that's also just assuming a lot.
Yeah, that is assuming. Now, don't get me wrong. The guy who interviewed him in the face paint probably knows that. Yeah. But I don't think anybody else did.
No, I sure didn't.
I was perplexed, and it wasn't until later when he said that he went to Promise Keepers with his brother Jeff. I'm like, oh, Jeff's back from the dead.
Yeah. Okay. Jeff has risen 3 days later.
Okay, well, that would be a good reason why you want to believe in God. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's something.
I don't know why you're so hesitant at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much have been like, yep, Jesus.
Then skip all of this wrestling part and let's talk about the resurrection of your brother Jeff.
Yeah. This is where you become an apostle and you just walk around in robes and whatnot and herd sheep.
Mm-hmm. And stop at Hardee's.
Yeah,
which was the sponsor, apparently, of you. And then this is where we get into where they start using WWE footage and just cropping out the WWE logo.
Yeah, it works. Vince ain't suing nobody.
Obviously.
Yeah. Maybe he got that as part of his, I'll go to the Hall of Fame eventually.
But hey.
But I'm going to need some of this particular footage.
Yeah, eventually. Or it's like, hey, this like long-standing dispute we've had for 14 years about this footage of Sting Moment of Truth. Like, we've been in a legal court battle, and we've been delaying this for a while.
Let's go ahead and bury the hatchet.
Why don't you go ahead and stop those claims?
Let's go ahead and bury the heat, brother.
That's what I want to believe. I want to believe that as soon as it came out, they took legal action, and then they've been in this massive court battle back and forth for years over the release of this DVD.
He just keeps showing up in his paint, and the judge is like, I can't have that in my court. You get out of here.
Yeah,
it just continues it.
Yeah, a continuance and a continuance and a continuance. And then finally, like, after racking up, like, millions of dollars in legal bills, he's just like, hey, why don't we just go ahead and end this? Yeah. Drop this lawsuit.
And then only had one match.
Yeah.
That's all he needed.
Because there was a time where the WWE logo is clearly in this. Like, it was when he was making his entrance at Super Brawl. Like, there was the logo down in the corner. But other times, like, nah, let's just make it widescreen here.
Yeah, just kind of, let's get that out of there.
Yeah.
We've had it too long.
Yeah. So, get WWE stuff. This is where we start to pick things up where it's like a lot of just wrestling footage.
Yeah. And it would lead you to believe that he wrestled in TNA and WCW at the same time.
Yeah, that's just like, it's so weird about all of this is that, like, they're telling a good story.
Yes, it is not a bad story. Just how they get around to telling it,
or how they
this could have been a 15-minute thing.
Yeah, like this could have been a 15-minute thing. Like, you just cut out some of this wrestling, or you shorten this wrestling. But they're like showing like almost full matches, or at least 5 minutes of highlights. When
multiple things,
30 seconds conveys what we want to convey here, and you just move on. But it's like, oh, we need to get to 90 minutes.
We need an hour and a half release.
Yeah, we need an hour and a half release for this, so let's pad it with some wrestling. And it's just like, because you don't have to write a script for wrestling.
Yeah.
So that's, especially footage that's already existed and will be on the WWE network, and it's owned by them. That stuff. Then you got the random biker conversation.
Yeah, it was odd.
Yeah.
With no payoff. Just other than the fact that you can stay here for church.
Yeah. Like, there's going to be a church at the stadium the next day or something.
They draw the same?
Well, I mean, how many people show up to Joel Osteen's church?
Oh, man.
Probably more than some of the house shows they run.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so give or take.
But it was before the mega church.
And then we get to the hotel room where he reads a letter from his wife, where he's kind of like, man, my wife's fucking being a bitch right now.
Fuck her.
Yeah, she's living in a nice house.
I'm sleeping in this hotel room.
Yeah. That's the thing, too. You couldn't even get like a nice hotel room or a hotel room he would have actually stayed in during WCW. Like, I feel like when he was staying in WCW, he was not staying in that type of hotel.
Yeah.
Like,
I figure this is TNA, though.
No, I think TNA they would swing their big dick out. And,
you think so?
Everybody stayed at the DoubleTree.
Okay.
So that don't look like no DoubleTree.
I ain't a DoubleTree I ever stayed at.
That looks like a Best Western.
And it's an Econo Lodge at best.
Yeah. Yeah, there's 2 beds in there because every room has 2 beds.
Yeah, you can't get them anywhere else. Sometimes they have 3.
Yeah. So, or he reads his wife's letter, and actually the voice is his actual wife. Yeah. So,
getting everybody in this movie.
Getting everybody a little IMDb credit. And then they show B-roll footage of a really fancy house, which I think is Jarrett's house or Jeff's house. I don't think that's Sting's house.
Also, just drove by.
Yeah,
it's Don Harris. It's the other side of Don Harris' house.
The other side of Don Harris' house. But that looks like a house, a really nice house in Nashville, not California.
Yeah.
So what do I know? Then we get to
Tennessee Titans flag over there. Get out of here.
Is that a Nashville Predators flag flying in the background?
It says house divided.
Then we get to the Sting repelling part, and they make
where our buddy Charlie comes to play.
Yeah, like they talk a lot about this repelling thing as this is like a definitive turning point in Sting's
his
career, life, legacy. Like, I mean, I remember the repelling thing, and I remember it being cool, but we don't think about that as being the thing that changed wrestling.
He would have been just as cool not coming from the ceiling.
Exactly. Like,
wouldn't have changed the game.
You could have just cut the lights out and him run out or come out from under the ring. If anything, part of the reason why they repelled is probably because they're like, Sting, we're going to cut the lights and you're going to hide underneath the ring for most of the show. And he's like, no, you're not. Come up with a different plan. Okay, you want to be repelled from the ceiling? I guess. I feel like that's how the conversation...
It takes 15 minutes to get up there.
Yeah, exactly. But you'd see this later in the ring for 2 hours. Okay. Like, I think that's what it was more of than anything. So, or just come through the crowd like the Shield.
Then when for real.
Yeah.
Then when he when he asked anyone ever died or got hurt doing this, I was like, whoa, are we gonna bring Owen into this movie? Is this gonna happen?
Yeah, see, that's the other thing too. Is somebody dies from this eventually, but you're making this like, oh, this is the thing that changed my career. Like,
Changed Owen Hart's career too.
Yeah, repelling in pro wrestling, like that's the R word in pro wrestling is a dirtier word than the F word. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather call somebody call pro wrestling fake than somebody suggested somebody should repel from the ceiling. Like that's how I feel.
That could also have to do with the height difference of the places we wrestle, though.
Yeah. But even still.
But nonetheless, yeah.
I don't want to fall from a high school gym.
No, not at all.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't even know how I'd get up there.
Yeah. Wouldn't have a clue.
I had to repel you up. And you have to look like an asshole for 2
then
hours.
I'd have to be trapped in the ceiling.
Yeah.
As opposed to being underneath the ring hiding. So.
I will take laying under the ring the whole time.
Yeah, I'll take that any day of the week.
Set me up a little cot area. Put me some padding down. Got me a little video game action.
You just want the Tommy Rich treatment.
Oh, brother.
You just want to be underneath a 6-pack.
Mm-hmm.
And have somebody. That's all you want.
Man, every time during the match, you just hear.
Well, maybe
it sounds like some rattling bottles under there.
Man, if you guys would get this crowd over and yelling a little bit, you wouldn't hear all these bottles knocking around.
You boys know what the fuck you were doing.
We get to a one-sided phone conversation, which there are a lot of one-sided phone conversations in here. Like you're just supposed to.
You have to pay for when you use the phone. Hotel room.
No.
They don't have that kind of budget.
So he's not talking to anybody. He's just like.
No, I just got to. You're lucky to hear.
I know, because there was a lot of like, what do you mean? Huh? No, nobody's in here. Why don't you believe me? So this is why we can't talk. We always fight. Why don't you just let me finish? Okay, I'll go. Like that's every like they and they, like one-sided phone conversation.
Like the one was about there's stuff going on the walls in the bathroom.
Yeah, just there's.
I'm gonna go find a tree, babe.
A lot of one-sided phone conversations in this movie. Like that's how little script writing was done. Like we can't even write
improv a phone call. I got you.
Yeah, like we don't want to write script for the other person on the line. We just.
Sue was only doing one take that fucking day. I'll read the stupid fucking letter.
And then after that, there's a montage of all the merch.
Of course there is.
But, I don't have the phone on me, but remind me to put this on the Facebook page. And I probably will, because I got to do some updates about our live show, which is the dates moved and whatever. So I got to do some updating to our Facebook page. Yes. How did this get booked? But during this montage, there's a clip missing. Mm-hmm. And you see a media error, which is a Final Cut Pro issue, where it basically says media offline, which basically means the picture or whatever clip that was there, the name was changed or it was deleted. So basically it was the editing software going, we can't find this piece of data or media.
Yeah. But
it was linked, like the clips and changes had already been made on the timeline, but it was like basically a timeline error, but it was a Final Cut Pro error message for at least a frame.
Yeah.
I caught it, took a picture of it, so I'll put it on our Facebook page for anybody who's interested in that. But yeah, it's clearly on the finished product is a media offline.
Couldn't take that out? Could clip that a bit?
Yeah. That's the thing, like you could have just dragged or something like that, but it was clearly like there was a red warning. Yeah. Where you see it. It's like screen's all red. It was media offline, film fxdv.mov missing. So it's there. Keep in mind, during some of these montages, I was on like social media just checking Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. And out of nowhere, I saw that big red screen because I'm sensitive to it as a video editor.
Yes.
And I saw it and I go, oh, they just left that on the finished product.
Oops.
That's...
Oopsie.
That explains a lot.
Yep.
That explains a lot.
This whole movie makes more sense now.
That makes a whole lot more. Then we get to the college interviewer who's in the stink paint named Gail.
Gail. She's all over this kid being named Gail for a minute.
Yeah. I feel like that was just a bit. Like,
yeah.
Couldn't even give him a name like Ashley.
Yeah. I thought Ashley when he said girl's name.
Ashley is a believable thing. Mm-hmm. But
never heard a guy named Gail.
Yeah. Neither have I.
I don't believe it. Don't buy it. This is a lie, Steve.
No, this is a lie. Moving right along, more WWE footage. The fans' paint peels really bad. Like I wonder how many takes they had to do, but like it's clearly like peeling on him. Obviously his paint wasn't as done as well as Steve's was that day. And then this is where he starts having his dream sequence.
About 20 minutes in, yep, we're right back at it like we called it.
Pretty much.
Called her shot.
We call the shot 20 minutes later. Yeah. This is like he's got like the women are labeled ladies of the night.
That's what I call them
in this montage.
He's randomly doing pills throughout this movie too. We haven't really
like beer with pills and stuff like that. Like I mean, don't get me wrong.
I mean that's why you're supposed to do it.
That's
get a little sum it up, make a movie.
Listen, brother.
I wish we were smart enough to know how to take pills and beer together because I feel like an ass. I feel like shit right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like I am bang the fuck up right now.
Doing fake cosplay wrestling.
Yeah. Very meta in that I was completely exhausted by the time I wrestled Bane. I'd already fought 6 matches, and I take a backbreaker, and my body was so weak, much like Batman was in the comics when he took the backbreaker from Bane and almost crippled myself. So still feeling it right now. But there's definitely a couple nights where I was taking a lot of Aleve and having some beers. So that's how I dealt with it. But there's a lot of that going on, and this whole dream sequence, which is
weird at best.
Yeah,
and then I thought he woke up from it, but then he's just tied to a gurney. So it's just it keeps going to a whole different world.
We're screaming for God to help him.
Yeah,
and I know he's admitted this publicly, but I'm surprised we didn't go there in this. But maybe because he's incorporated his family, he's admitted to infidelity.
See, I was wondering why they never really. There had to be a reason she kept like bringing it up, or he would talk about how she would bring it up in the movie.
Yeah,
but he never was like, "But I was fucking all the time."
Yeah, he never said it, or just even a clip of him running off to a hotel room and closing a door conveys kind of the same thing, and him admitting to it. But obviously he's talking to reporters, so obviously he's not going to admit that to a reporter. Yeah. But there are some alone montages where he's talking about himself. So I don't know why we don't discuss that, but it's almost artistically implying that. Yeah. Much like we imply that his brother's dead. Yeah.
It has risen from the grave soon.
Yeah, and took him to Promise Keepers, which I think is the same conference that I think is Coach Barnett, the Colorado football coach, was a speaker at. If you've seen the 30 for 30 on that and what he did at those Promise Keeper ones, I think he was one of the lead people in that. But it's definitely a name and a conference I've heard multiple times before. But yeah, you just kind of artistically said, yeah. I'd be fucking. And then hanging on the wino and screaming, God, get me out of here. And then of course he wakes up.
Gives himself to the Lord.
Yep. But then he was he was talking about in this confession, like I said, I'm not going to shit on the God thing, but I will shit on the fact that the applause in the wrestling means nothing to me. I'm just kind of I put in my notes, fuck off.
Yeah.
That kind of means a lot to me.
Yeah. That meant a lot to you, or you wouldn't be fucking doing it.
Exactly. I fucking beat the shit out of myself this weekend. Wrestled after I fucking tweaked my already torn ACL because the applause and the wrestling and the adulation I get from the fans means more than my own well-being. And for you to say none of that means anything to me, only you, God, means something to me, I think is a little self-centered at the same time, too. Even though you're giving yourself to a higher being,
yes,
I think to shrug off love and adulation from people that care about you.
Being a role model and what have you.
Yeah, probably that should be a driving force. So the fact that you just bring joy to people's lives, that you're a vehicle for people. But it just circles back around why he's shitty to this thing and these people here, and then why he has to sanitize his hands after he touches a wrestling thing. Just comes back to that essence of it. You know, for me, am I imperfect? Am I the most holiest of persons? Absolutely not. But at the same time, too, the joy I of a wrestling fan seeing my match and telling me they really enjoy it, that makes me feel better. If anything, it might be the only thing that makes me feel anything like a human being. That might be all I have for the rest of my life.
Tethers you to the world.
Tethers me to the world is what wrestling fans and fans of this podcast and people who see me do stand-up comedy or anything else to put online, the likes, the loves, the handshakes, the hugs, the thank yous for doing this. Those mean more to me than anything else in this world. And for you to get down upon your knees and look up at God and say, it's all bullshit.
Fuck that.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that. And if I was a fan of Sting, I'd be that much more turned off by it.
Yes.
So,
but I'm not. So I am not.
And I like how he said, "You are my king," as he's looking up, which I just had to chuckle inside because the writer-director of this is George King. And I could just picture George King going, "Yes, my son."
George, we caught that on tape again. You gotta stop saying it.
I'm sorry. I feel like he's talking to me.
Because I mean, pretty much the king around here.
Yeah, I'm the king.
Go on, do your thing.
wrote and directed these one-sided phone conversations. I'm the writer of those.
I did that. King shit.
Yeah. But at the same time too, like, what wrestler hasn't fallen to their knees and asked for God's forgiveness in a hotel room like that?
Well, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning every once in a while way too drunk and think, man, maybe I should find Jesus.
You just need to roll.
So that's not even like, I'm not even doing bad shit. I'm just drinking a little more than
you're just living your best life.
I'm living the fuck out of my best life. I'm not even doing drugs.
You're not dreaming of ladies of the night.
No, I've not bought one hooker.
You're not trying to climb over this like fenced-in wall. And
it had barbed wire on top.
Yeah.
It was like a steel cage with barbed wire atop it.
Yeah.
You're trying to climb it. Sting.
Yeah. You're not being strapped into a surgery table.
Where you're going to operate upon yourself.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah. So very artistically trying to tell us something that was about as confusing as his brother Jeff's life. and death.
And subsequent real life.
Yeah. So... any other thoughts about this big confession? Because this is what we were leading to for him to finally give himself to God.
Other than, you're right, it's a real big prick move to say fuck all that stuff. Good for it. I did not realize that was going to be a main drive. I didn't realize that was going to be like the payoff spot
of this show.
Yes. I mean, I know he's a Christian and everything, but I didn't.
So you didn't know that this was building to the idea of I'm trying to touch people's lives and let them know what Christianity has done to me. You did not know
at all.
So when I handed that to you, you had no idea.
No.
Okay. See, I knew exactly what this was, so I was kind of surprised that it took so long to get here.
Yeah. No. So. I just thought it was a Sting thing. Sting's like, I gotta make some money. I gotta make a video for TNA. Jimmy Borash is here.
Or Norash, as he was accredited in the IMDb.
I mean, come on, you can't proofread this stuff.
Yeah.
We don't have money for proofreaders.
Yeah.
Obviously, I knew that would get touched upon because, like, they talk about it throughout. Like, it hit it here and there. Which we didn't talk about the guys in the lobby saying that Ted DiBiase sent them. We mentioned the plane part itself, just not that Ted DiBiase sent them.
Which, this is another thing that another problem I have with some Christians. You know what I'm saying? I always feel like some of the people that discuss, not discuss, but like people that aggravate me the most are Christians that pray publicly. Let's pray right now. Oh, let's pray on him. Or get in here for prayer. Like people that make these big displays of prayer, especially when they are most outwardly against gay marriage because of one line or two lines in the Bible. But there's clearly a verse in the Bible that says, the man who falls to his knees and praises me in the streets is not a true follower of me, but the man who goes to a dark corner and praises my name in silent and quiet and private, he is therefore more of a penitent man than the man who falls to the streets for praise, to let people know that how much he loves me. I'm paraphrasing the whole thing, but there is
I think that sounded very biblical.
But there is a particular line that people that fall in the middle of the street and say, "God, I love you." Oh, God. But
is anybody watching?
But exactly. But the person that goes to a quiet corner and prays and has introspective thoughts and gives actual praise to God is actually the more holy of the two. So when I see people like, let's get in here and pray in a hotel lobby, it's like, oh, get the fuck, what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? But then you're gonna like say, this person's lifestyle is really disgusting. You know, like I should be, as a Christian, should have a right to not let gays to get a wedding cake. You know, like just this stupid stuff like that. Because the same amount of words that you're hanging on to are the same amount of words that tells you praying in a hotel lobby is fucking stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if anything, we should the number one hated enemy of all of these Christians who are anti-gay, you should be going after large fish. There's a whole goddamn story about a fish eating a fucking man. If anything, the people on the most dangerous catch, they are the true warriors of God, my friend.
We should all be Ishmael.
Yeah, we should all should be looking for Moby Dick, because apparently there's a whole fucking story about that. So that's my Christian soapbox problem. It's more about inclusion as opposed to exclusion.
Yes.
That's always my theory about life. Anything else about this?
No.
We get some home videos in the credits that roll through. That's
cute.
Cute. Nice little time.
I like how just as soon as that happens, it's like, all right, and we're done here. Hour 29, let's go.
Yep. Get out, and then of course
we can do all this in verbal in the credits.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too. Is like you reenacted some of this stuff, but you put the home video in the end. Like you used home video stuff for the California montage.
Yeah,
why don't you use that? Why don't you use that? You could have saved you a little bit more money.
Yeah, of course.
You know, this whole thing's a goddamn montage anyway. So
hour and a half montage. Rocky didn't have a montage like this.
Yeah, like as far as montages go, there's way more montages in this than there were in any Rocky, for sure. But actually, you know, I think this is all like a big coming around to like, oh, I've rededicated myself to his wife, which unfortunately he's divorced from that wife and moved on to wife number 2.
Oh, well.
So,
you know,
these things happen.
Hey.
These things happen.
Can't be perfect.
Yeah, it's not so much about perfect. Maybe it was just time they grew apart. Yeah. So, you know, that's always the thing. Is sometimes the person.
Because he didn't exactly stop wrestling, so I assume it kind of just went back around the way it was.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like I always claim that there's a cycle with wrestlers and wives. Like there's the wife that you have the kids with that was with you when you were poor, and she fucking suffers through all of your bullshit, your pill addictions, infidelity, all these things. But she was the one that kept the home, kept it going, raised the kids, took good care of you, put up with all the fucking bullshit. And then you kind of amicably break up, but you're still good because you got the kids, and usually they become good friends in some levels, in some circumstances. Sometimes she takes you to the cleaner, sometimes she's not. Sometimes she's the better person, whatever it is. And then there's the second wife. That's who you get the pill addiction with. That's who you get the mugshot with. That's where shit gets out of fucking control. Then there's the third wife, and that's when you become a born-again Christian. Yeah, like that's usually how these cycles.
And sometimes you're Ric Flair, and those cycles happen twice in a row.
Sometimes it's just Groundhog Day of wives. Yeah. It's just
a different woman, same day, basically.
Although, he has been with Fifi the maid for quite some time.
Nah.
I think he might have settled on somebody that actually cares for him at the end of his life. Which, as a wrestler, that's all you want.
Yeah. I think it could be any time.
Yeah. Like, there was this woman who was dating, I'm not going to put this out there because it's not really out there. There was this woman who was, I'm not going to say side piece, but she was messing around with a wrestler who was married at the time. And she said this one thing where she was like, how much she loved this man that she was with. And it's like, what, he was thinking about leaving his wife for a while, but it never happened. And she made this comment, which is a comment that I've always aspired to, hoping to find somebody like this that would say this comment, to where she said, he goes, if that man ever got injured and hurt and couldn't walk anymore, I would take care of him for the rest of his life. And I'm like, that's what you look for at the end of this whole merry-go-round of pro wrestling, that you end up with somebody that loves you enough to take care of you. And an aspect, I think maybe Ric Flair has that. Yeah. And hopefully Sting has that right now himself. Yes. So, and how we come full circle.
All we can ask for.
We're getting very deep on this podcast.
Yeah, man.
Very, very.
We touched some things today.
We touched some things, and none of them were little boys.
No, and hey,
unlike
good on us.
unlike certain wrestling coaches in this thing.
Wait, now I'm gonna be a friend with a pedophile now? God damn it!
No, I'm not implying that in any circumstances and stuff like that. Just making a joke that everybody's made about him his entire life.
Based on truth.
Based on truth, because he did film somebody getting changed to a singlet in the bathroom one time without their knowledge. But I digress. I digress.
Oh, God.
Anyways, folks, like I said at the top of the show, we are giving away free t-shirts to anybody who leaves a review on Stitcher or iTunes. If Stitcher is still ruled the roost by rattling, right alongside OSW Reviews, Jake and Zane understand how to joke about a niche interest that not a lot of people listen to.
Did we get a tweet about someone saying they
said that there was a new Stitcher one, but I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Listen, I don't acknowledge a new one until they DM me and I send them a t-shirt. There's a method to this madness.
DM and tweetness are two different things.
Yes. Well, they said that there was a new one, but that person has not DM'd me about, like, hey, here's my shirt size and my mailing address. So I'm not going to acknowledge it.
So get your shit together.
Get your shit together. Because just you leaving a review doesn't mean anything. I have to give you that free t-shirt.
Yeah.
I want to give you that free t-shirt.
It goes review, free t-shirt, name on show.
Yeah, exactly. It goes review, DM, address and shirt size, free t-shirt. Then mention on the show. That's how I'm doing, because
there are rules. We live in a society.
I am not checking our Stitcher and our iTunes page every time before we record to see a new person pop up.
Yes,
that's just how it is. Which, speaking of which, I'm a real piece of shit because I forgot the new iTunes one. There is somebody new that I didn't check. I've already broken my rules.
So rules are made to be broken, everybody.
Rules are meant to be broken.
Except for the top 10. And you know what they are? Because you guys probably Christian out there listening.
God damn, that's right. I'm a moron. We did have a new review, and I didn't mention it, and I'm an awful
We'll say it twice next show.
We will say it twice. We'll say it at the top of the show and the next show. So I do greatly apologize. I came in here a little bit of a rush. It's been a rough weekend. I will make sure that the reviews are said properly. I like how we were a real dick right there. It was a real sting right there.
You really stinged it up.
Really stinged it up.
You really stung it up in here.
Either way, your name will get said regardless. We'll do it twice next show. I made a mistake, but Zane, you got anything coming up? We want people know, but this is coming out this Thursday.
All right. I don't have anything else coming up this weekend, but next weekend we'll be in Raleigh for the Raleigh SuperCon. Right back at it. Can't keep a good dog down.
That's true, and we will have a live taping of this particular show noon on Sunday.
Noon to noon 50.
And we will be discussing The Wrestler, the movie The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, not the one with Ed Asner.
That will be the next live one.
That will be the next live one. As soon as I get some retread on the internet, we will do that. But we'll be discussing that because most everybody's seen it, and most everybody's like, "Hey, you ever seen the movie The Wrestler? What are your opinions on that?"
Nope,
well, guess what?
It.
Show up not this Sunday, but the Sunday after the Raleigh SuperCon, and we will be discussing that movie.
Keep an eye out on our social medias and our social medias, and you will see the updated flyer for that.
Yep. Yeah, actually probably before this episode is posted, I'll be running Facebook ads and tweeting and Instagramming about it from there on. So make sure you come out to that.
And that same weekend, I'll also be doing, we'll both be doing Queens of Combat, aside from FSCW, which we love. And
yes.
Dan says he listens to it all the time, so hello, Dan Perella.
Yes. Appreciate everything that you do for FSCW and us.
We'll even give you a free t-shirt without a review, since we're just breaking rules left and right today.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, we were breaking the chain of command. So I'm giving you a free t-shirt. Anyways, guys, make sure you subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever podcasts are available, YouTube. Make sure you log on to howdidthisgetbooked.com. That's where sometimes like these shows like this I posted where you could watch Sting Moment of Truth in the upcoming show information. Also, if you want to buy the t-shirt and not leave a review because you're upset because I don't read your name in the review section.
And you're going to show us by giving us money for it.
They're giving us money for it. Also, my own personal merch is on there at howdidthisgetbooked.com. But anyways, guys, thank you very much for listening. This has been another edition of How Did This Get Booked?
Woo!